Elizabeth Holmes, who just a few years ago was regarded as the youngest self-made female billionaire, has just been indicted on multiple counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and could potentially spend the rest of her life in prison. As recently as 2015, Forbes was estimating her net worth to be around $4.5 billion, although by 2016, they estimated her net worth to be around $0. When she was just 19 years old, Elizabeth Holmes founded the company Theranos after dropping out of Stanford. Theranos promised to totally revolutionize medicine and blood testing technology. Typically, when you need to get your blood drawn for a medical test, they need to draw a vial of blood, or sometimes several vials of blood when they need to do multiple tests, from your vein. But there are some exceptions. Diabetics, or even non-diabetics, can have their blood sugar tested with just a drop of blood that they get from a finger prick at home. Theranos promised that with just a drop of blood gotten from a prick of a finger, they could test for a whole myriad of things, and eventually they could test for just about anything using just one drop of blood. At least that's what they claimed. They claimed that eventually people would be able to do any medical blood test from their own homes. This would revolutionize medicine, they said, because blood tests would be much easier to do, much less expensive, and people would probably do them a lot more often if they could just do them from their own home and upload the results to their doctors. More frequent blood testing would lead to earlier detection of diseases and therefore more effective treatment, argued Theranos. The only problem with all this is that it wasn't true. Elizabeth Holmes had not actually created this technology. It was one big scam, and it was exposed as such by the Wall Street Journal in October of 2015. What's really remarkable about this case is how long Elizabeth Holmes was able to fool so many people into actually believing that she had this technology. In addition, according to the government, Theranos managed to raise $700 million in private equity funding. Elizabeth Holmes did this in spite of the fact that she refused to share details about her technology worked with even her big private investors. Now, that's a little bit unusual. It's not uncommon for companies to not want to share their secrets with the public, but usually companies will share their secrets with their large private investors because a lot of people simply won't invest in a technology if you're not willing to share the details about how it works. And indeed, there were some investors that would not invest in Theranos for this reason. However, there was no shortage of people actually willing to invest. Like I said, she apparently raised over $700 million. The largest private investor she had was Rupert Murdoch, who ended up having to sell his $125 million investment in Theranos in 2017 for just $1. What's also interesting is that Rupert Murdoch is the man who controls the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal is the newspaper that originally exposed Theranos for being a fraud. But it's not just wealthy people that Elizabeth Holmes is being accused of defrauding. They also have been accused of defrauding thousands of doctors and patients with phony blood test results, potentially putting people's lives at risk. In 2016, they had to announce that they had completely invalidated all their blood tests performed in 2014 and 2015. In addition, Theranos was on the cusp of going national when the Wall Street Journal article came out in October of 2015 exposing them as a fraud. Theranos already had 40 wellness centers in Walgreens in Palo Alto, California, and in Phoenix, Arizona, and the surrounding areas. But they were about to go national and appear in Walgreens stores across America, where they could have potentially put a lot more people's lives at risk. It makes sense that the government is filing criminal charges against Elizabeth Holmes and also Sunny Balwani, who is Elizabeth Holmes' former boyfriend and who was second in command at Theranos, because back in March of 2018, the SEC announced that they had come to an agreement with Elizabeth Holmes, fining her $500,000 and requiring that she not serve on the board of directors of a publicly traded company for 10 years. Although Theranos itself was not a publicly traded company, and she was still permitted to serve on the board of directors of a privately held company. A lot of people at the time, like Judge Andrew Napatino, noted that this was little more than just a slap on the wrist for her, since she was not facing any prison time and she was not even given a criminal record, and wondered why she was let off so leniently, even though she had committed such a massive fraud. However, now she does seem to be facing serious criminal charges. Also, an upcoming movie about the Theranos saga has been announced, with Jennifer Lawrence playing Elizabeth Holmes. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notifications, and together we shall take over the world. I upload 5 videos a month. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at ZorkBid123, and I broadcast live on Younow and Twitch at ZorkBid123.